this heaven?
No. It's Iowa.
Well, hello there, boyos. How you been doing? You want to get into a bar fight?
I'm afraid, Ben. I'm afraid that if you push me...
What'll happen if I push you? I thought I had to be friends with you first.
Somebody just like you don't know what's going to happen next. Lucky Charms get in my way, I'm going to punch you right in the throat.
Well, I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
That's the wrong movie, Ben.
I thought we were talking
Roadhouse.
On the Pod of Dreams.
Before we start, do you have insurance?
What?
Your coverage good? Like, you have dental?
Oh, haha.
Is there a hospital nearby? Is it, like, too far?
About like 25 minutes, I'd say.
I just slapped you. Are you alright?
What?
So you like to fight? You ever win?
No one ever wins a fight.
This ain't the Holiday Inn, pal.
I'm moving.
A friend of mine suggested I come talk to you. I own a roadhouse out in the Florida Keys. Lately, it's been attracting the wrong clientele. I can pay you good money. Judging by your car, you need that.
Well, I like my car.
Think about it.
I know who you are. Elwood Dalton. Big fan, man.
That guy's got a knife under his shirt. You just take a big step back and pop me in the face. You can do it.
Tell me about this bouncer. Yeah, it's all nice, like he's Mr. Rogers or something, but then he'll haul off. Really interesting guy, overall.
Brand wants to take the roadhouse away from me. He wants to build some resort.
I should warn you. People have a certain way of getting things done around here.
Hey, fellas. Looks like you're having a smashing night. Dalton! I got a tip for you. Don't let no one get this close.
Let me guess. Threaten me. Tell me to get out of town.
I get the impression that you can't be threatened.
Once Knox is on the job, it's over, baby.
It takes a lot to get me angry, but when I am, I just can't let go. People seem a little aggressive around here.
Is that one a friend of yours?
No, I just broke his arm.
Yeah, I picked this movie.
There's no we. This isn't a we situation.
You do have to say I do want to. You're accountable for your choices.
You chose this film. You did this to us.
I did, and I got a little giddy thinking about.
Little cheeky? You look a little cheeky over there.
Yeah, I am. Little stinker, making you guys watch this movie.
Well, are you proud of yourself and your selection? Do you look back with, anger, joy, happiness with your what's your reaction to your own choice?
It's just how middling it was. I think last week I mentioned Roadhouse, the original, being a good bad movie, but I mean really it was a good movie for what it was, for a 1980s movie about the world's greatest bouncer. It was a good movie. This movie, however, is
a great movie.
It's not about
probably the greatest movie about
bouncer.
anything ever, I would say. Probably.
It's the greatest movie starring a UFC fighter that I've seen.
Oh boy. What's the total list of movies starring a UFC fighter?
Can I offer you an Expendables or two?
Oh, with Randy Couture. No, I've never seen an Expendables movie, so they sound pretty middling as well too.
Conor McGregor's film debut in this film, right?
Yeah.
Can't believe they couldn't get that psycho in a movie before this one.
He is a psycho. He punched out the Heat mascot for no reason.
Broke the guy's nose, didn't he?
Yeah, just straight out cold cocked him.
He's been arrested at least 3 times that I can remember for various things.
Yeah, good guy.
A real stand-up dude. And a great actor, too. Oh, my gosh. Top-tier performance in this movie.
Well, okay.
Go back to retirement, Daniel Day-Lewis. Conor McGregor's on the scene now.
Oh, yeah, he reclaimed the mantle for sure.
He's the Irish. You got to take over for the Irish of Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, I thought he had to do some heavy lifting considering how low-key Jake Gyllenhaal played his character.
We got to talk about Gyllenhaal. We got to talk about it. Go. Sorry, Ben.
No, you're fine. I mean, we're all, I think, coming at this movie from the same not full of joy perspective. I think we're seeing more concerned with different problems. There's lots of problems in this movie. I would never watch this if you hadn't picked it, Kevin. This was never going to be on my radar. I thought the movie was almost getting away with it for a little while, and then our friend Conor McGregor showed up, and then it was okay. Whatever they were working towards just combusted. But you want to talk Gyllenhaal. Not charismatic enough? Is that where you're headed with this? Not exciting enough?
What is he? What is he at all? What is he good at? What does he offer from
just the human being?
Yeah.
It was an interesting character choice to be so low-key and so dopey.
He's like Forrest Gump in this movie. Is he slow? Is he supposed to be like mentally slow in this film?
But he understands fighting so well. That's where that gets thrown up. He could just be kind of stupid. That would be one way of playing it. But they didn't quite play these zombies. Like, if I break this and this, you can't pull the trigger. And he's very quick with knowing how to hurt people and how much to hurt people without crossing a line.
But also, what does he want? He doesn't want anything. He just sort of finds his way here for no reason because he didn't want to beat up Post Malone, I guess. I don't know.
He wanted to die, apparently.
Yeah, he was suicidal to start the movie.
And they should have steered into that, by the way. I mean, he should have just been like, hey, these people are threatening to kill me, but I don't care because if they kill me, I don't really want to. I'm iffy on being alive anymore.
But what a bummer that is. We're just watching this guy, just the suicidal maniac. It's such a downer. See, that's my biggest problem with this movie is it a serious film about a guy at the end of his rope who was a fighter? Like, is it The Wrestler? Or is it some stupid cheesy action movie about a guy who can fight really well? I mean, it's really neither of those things. And
right. It doesn't pick a lane, really.
Right.
At all.
It's not funny. It's not. The story's dumb. I mean, it's a stupid. They're trying to take her bar, and he has to whatever.
And the original was dumb too. Let's be fair. It's that they're both dumb movies, but the first one is way more fun.
I don't really like the first Roadhouse. I just want to say that at the outset. Like, that movie makes no sense.
Oh, it's extremely dumb. It's aggressively stupid.
The bad guy owned a J.C. Penney's, I think.
Right.
And he's just upset about his idiot nephew stealing money, and then that's what moves the plot forward in the original. It's dumb, but it's way more fun.
Yeah.
And it knows what it wants to do, even if it's a stupid thing to do. Like, this is, I don't think this is bouncer culture, but at least it had an idea and stuck with it.
And I think the actor actually had a personality.
Yeah, Dalton was a character in Roadhouse. It was weird because he's like a philosopher and a fighter. It didn't totally make a whole lot of sense which one he was.
Pain don't hurt.
Yeah, and he said nonsense. Jake
Gyllenhaal
says
life and all that shit.
Barely says anything in this movie, and just sort of mopes his way between one scene and the next, and then eventually the only thing that turns him around is that the girl's bookstore got burnt down and the little girl got beat up. Like, that seemed to be the only thing in the whole movie he actually cared about. So I mean, it's another example for me of why Jake Gyllenhaal, I think, offers virtually nothing. He got really yoked in this movie is like really all it is like, look how buff I am. Although I will say there's so many little CGI tweaks in this movie that I wonder if his entire body was CGI'd the whole time. I mean, maybe he really was that ripped, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went in there and cleaned some stuff up with some digital effects. Like so many, there's the scene where he kills Conor McGregor. You can tell those little wood planks are all CGI. It looks really terrible.
And it didn't even kill him.
The car scene, the truck scene would look super fake. Just CGI looks cheap and bad. If you're going to make an action movie, like that's why John Wick is so cool, because that shit looks like they're really doing it. Now, they do the same thing. There's a lot of CGI in John Wick with guns and knives and stuff, and you can tell some of that looks really dumb. But at least
it's super well choreographed, and all the fights are meticulously planned.
Right. This is like quick cuts, and the camera spins around, and then you're so disoriented, you're not really seeing any of the actual action. And you got Conor McGregor, who's like a legitimate worldwide champion fighter, and what he looks like he's doing in this movie, it looks fake, which is crazy because he is actually a good fighter. I don't know. It's just it's not fun. It's not funny. The fight, some of the fighting's all right, but it's not choreographed well. The plot's so stupid. It's one of those Amazon movies that just like, why did this movie happen? Who needed it? Nobody. It's just filling in space. It's like a tax write-off. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, maybe Jeff Bezos was bored. Yeah, he liked Roadhouse when he was.
How does this get greenlit? Where do they, of all the things?
Well, they got a real director, Doug Liman.
I want to talk about Doug Liman for sure. You say real director. So first movie was Swingers, which is a favorite of mine. I'm sure you love that movie, Kevin.
Oh, no? It's money. It's
okay. Don't love it. All right.
No, I liked it.
I like it too. I don't love it. I think it's fun, but I don't think I.
I mean, the director isn't what makes that movie in any way.
No, it's a good script, and it's also a fun slice of like a place and time, and the cast is good. Anyway.
Yeah, cast was great.
He's done Born Identity, which is a great action movie. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Edge of Tomorrow, which is
Edge of Tomorrow, I really like.
Yeah. So
That's
he's
my favorite of the bunch so far.
Done some good stuff. He's done some clunkers, like Jumper was a stupid movie.
Jumper was the teleportation
stupid.
Movie with Hayden Christensen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen it.
Oh, it is bad.
But
if you could teleport, you could do a lot of the cool things, but
none of that happened in the movie.
Yeah.
He hasn't really done a whole lot since like the mid 2010s. So I mean, was he like in movie jail? Is he one of those guys?
Edge of Tomorrow was a big hit, I thought. Like, I thought that movie did at least solid numbers.
They keep kicking around that they're going to make a sequel to it, and that never seems to come to fruition. But that's like a really good movie.
Yeah, Tom Cruise and his peak.
Yeah. And then he finds his way to this like remake of an Amazon movie.
But
Didn't
to
even
Kevin's
go to
point,
theater.
he might not be an elite or a fantastic director, but he's a competent director. Yeah, some movies haven't been great, some have been better. He's a competent, real director. He's not just some hack.
Yeah, he's got a filmography. Sure. But I wouldn't say the action or the directing of this movie is particularly good.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's lots of problems with it. I mean, I think your point about the script is really telling. I mean, you can think it'd be a bummer if he's really like suicidal and depressed. I mean, to me, I think that could be interesting. Well, first of all, it would be something, which is better than the nothing we got. And it would work with like the only person desperate enough to do this stuff is a guy who just doesn't care if he's shot. Like, I thought that was the direction we were going when the guy shows up at the bookstore and like lifts his shirt and he's got a gun tucked in and he starts to just walk away. The guy's like, "Hey, follow me. Do you not understand?" I thought he was gonna be like, "Shoot me, I don't care."
Well,
like, go Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon.
I was just gonna say that's Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon. Like, that's kind of interesting. He does want, because his wife was killed. He doesn't care about his own life.
He killed his best friend, and he doesn't. Whatever. He needed money, and he came here. He didn't really have anywhere else to be.
But was that guy even his best friend? He was this UFC competition. They knew each other. We didn't establish they were.
Say they were friends. Is all we get. We don't see any we don't see them hanging out and having beers together. And
like, if it was his brother, that would have been like, oh shit, he killed his brother in the ring. Like, that would have been something.
And you could have him fall in love with the community and realize ultimately he wants to live by the end of the movie, but it doesn't really go that route. And every time I think it's going to make a choice, and then it makes some other dumb choice and frustrated me. Like, when he finally, quote unquote, snaps, right? He goes up to the guy, punches him in the throat, and then like throws the guy in the pool who just like can't breathe and drowns. Like, oh, seeing him go full on rampage, That'd be super fun. Like, okay, let's see him just kill a bunch of people now. Like, let's see him go Hulk or whatever the hell you want to call it when he goes to his dark place. But then the next scene is like him knocking out a cop and making the boat, and then he has this plan to blow up the boat. Why is that the choice? I wanted just a bunch of fights. If he just killed a bunch of dudes hand to hand, great. That's what we need. That crazy bunch of fights.
That scene made no sense. Like he goes, the geography doesn't even make any sense. So he's at the guy's house. He has a boat and a house. So that didn't make sense to me. Is that
he had a yacht, right?
Right, but that's where he lived. He lived on the yacht. The bad guy in this movie. But where did
the good guy lived on a boat too?
Right, that's true. They're double boats. Where was the like crew, the bad guy crew? Where were they at? Just some house? They're squatting at some house? I didn't even know where that place. But that's where Gyllenhaal kills the one crew guy. But then he goes from there to the beach where the cop is, and the geography didn't make any sense to me. Why is the cop on the beach near this house?
And then he goes to the ex-boyfriend's boat. Where's that docked? It's somewhere else, right? Where? Yeah. I don't know. I'm with you. It doesn't make sense. But it's just a stupid choice. Why is he... No. We don't need a boat explosion. We just need him fighting. You can fight him on a boat, I guess. I would rather you fight at the Roadhouse, where we ultimately end up. Like, go dark. Go crazy. Just murder everybody.
Let's back up a sec. Kevin, so you picked this movie. It's not a we, like we established. Why this movie? Why did you pick Roadhouse 2024?
I was curious about it because I enjoyed the original and I was wanting to see what they did to update such a bonkers 80s movie.
Did you think it looked good though? Like, what did you see a trailer and like, ooh shit?
No, I thought it looked terrible.
Okay,
but I was curious about McGregor, about how much acting he could do. He was terrible in the Burger King commercial, so I couldn't imagine him even being on screen for more than 10 seconds without being terrible.
Well, he was terrible here.
He was terrible, and we did a little joke about the accent. I don't think a single word he spoke in the movie was live. It seemed like it was all dubbed in after
ADR?
the fact. Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
So that's one thing. And then we talked a little bit, I think before we started recording, the accent, right? So is he Irish? Is he Irish trying to be American? What's going on here?
You and I disagree. So Kevin, what was Conor McGregor doing in this movie? Could you accent wise?
I thought he was doing a lighter version of his own accent.
And let's hear a little bit of it from you, if you wouldn't mind.
It would sound like a little leprechaun if I did.
Okay. So you think he was trying to like mute his Irish accent? Because he's like a big Dublin, Ireland guy. Like,
yes, he's very Irish. Yes.
Yeah.
I assumed he was trying to do an American accent and just utterly failing at it. Like, not passing in the worst of both worlds.
Why? Because he's supposed to be American? What difference does it make if he's Irish or American?
No, he could have been straight Irish. I don't know. I understood maybe 5% of what he said. I mean, I had no clue.
All we know about him is he was hired by the bad guy's dad who's in prison, right?
To clean up a mess, but this guy seems like the wrong guy to clean up any mess.
Well, he takes cars and crashes them and then just jumps out and just storms his way in and starts punching things. That's really all he does.
Can we talk about his introduction first, right? Like, we get the call and we see him walking naked through Italy somewhere. He's in Italy?
I think he must be in Italy, yeah.
And he walks up like the Terminator and steals the guy's fucking outfit and lights it on fire.
Well,
and the Italian cops don't care, I guess.
First of all, he cucked some guy.
Yeah, he's cucking some guy, and he jumps out a window, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I hated the second it came in. I was like, oh, boy, it's like all the... he's a great fighter, I suppose, or good, or what. I don't know how to measure it. I felt like he was this charisma vacuum. I hated him in the second in the worst way. Like, not in a good villain way.
UFC champion, right? Won a bunch of UFC championships.
Yeah,
and then went
I think he was middleweight and bantamweight, and then he decided to hit a payday and fight Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, as just a straight boxing match, which is kind of bonkers to think like, hey,
he make like $100 million because
he never won, but he competed against him, right? It wasn't like a great
he
fight. He
didn't get knocked out anyway.
Right. And Mayweather was at the downswing of his career also.
Yeah, he was retired. This is just an exhibition.
Right. But it's kind of like Rocky 3, right? Like Mr. T's basically like a wrestler fighter signs up to be a boxer against a real boxer. Anyways, but yeah, so he's a legitimate like athlete, legitimate fighter.
Oh yeah, he was I think middleweight and bantamweight champ of the UFC. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do.
But yeah, so presumably he gets the call, leaves Italy, and goes to the Florida Keys to clean this mess up, right? He's hired by the bad guys who we don't ever see, right?
He comes up to the house and he eats some sandwiches in a really aggressive way.
That was like 3 sandwiches. He's like, 3's not enough. I need you guys to make me more sandwiches.
Well, every time he drives the car, he just crashes it into something and then gets out. Because the other scene where he's drinking the pineapple cups.
Can we talk about those? Because this drove me nuts. He had like 6 of them.
Yeah.
So did he carry 6 of them into the car?
No, they're coconuts.
They're sitting to the side of him?
Right. They're
Did
coconut
he have to juggle
drinks.
them into the car?
But isn't he driving like a Domino's car or something? He's got some weird car that he's driving too. It makes no sense where he got this car from.
Yeah, I assume he stole it. I assume he just went out.
Right.
That's what he does later on in the movie. He just like stops a car and just takes it. I don't know. Every scene he's in, I thought
you guys are making this movie sound really good.
It's not. It's every scene he's in is bad. I say it every time he's on screen. Whatever the film was doing was totally, however meager and poorly it was doing it, it got worse.
The worst part about it is, so Conor McGregor shows up because basically the bad guy's crew keeps getting beat up by Gyllenhaal, and they're there to try to get this woman to sell her bar or to get rid of it. And so Conor McGregor shows up presumably to kill Gyllenhaal, right? That's why he was hired, is to kill Dalton. And he goes to the bar and he starts beating guys up. And he's like, Dalton! And Gyllenhaal's just sitting there watching all of this happen, which I didn't understand why. Like, why didn't Gyllenhaal get in there and stop these guys?
He was scared to release the beast.
Right, but he just looks scared, just plain scared of McGregor.
Well, yeah,
so
he's not scared of a fight. He's scared of himself.
He's scared of who he is when he really lets go. When he loses control, Eric.
But how is he being
Bruce
pushed
Banner
harder?
doesn't want to unleash the Hulk, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he had already beat the shit out of like 5 other guys. He broke the one guy's arm.
But he was in control the whole time. He was never not in control. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what his limits were.
So McGregor shows up. This guy, he doesn't know who Gyllenhaal doesn't know who McGregor is. Has no knowledge. It's just some other guy, some other beefy bad guy shows up, and now all of a sudden he's worried about being pushed too hard.
It's because of the douchey guy from
Brandt.
Brandt, there we go. The douchey son shows up and shows him the footage of the fight of killing his friend. It reminds him what happens. So he's like, maybe I'm gonna let it go so I don't have to attempt unleashing the beast. So he's being more reserved.
It wasn't McGregor that did any of this. It was the video of his.
Yes. It was the psychological game, the psych out, which got him to be like, all right.
I also had a question about that. So Brandt is like, it's hard to find this video. It keeps getting deleted from the internet. Is Gyllenhaal doing that? Is he seeking out to try to get this video deleted? Like,
no, I assume it's because you see somebody get killed and they don't want that on YouTube. You're seeing somebody die. It's basically a stuff film. That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense. Good point.
Oh, that was easy. I mean, this movie has lots of problems. That one, I guess I chalked it up to being, that's fine, whatever. Like,
but you thought it was Gyllenhaal somehow saying, hey, a copyright claim.
He's sending YouTube emails once a week like, hey, take this video down, guys. It makes me look really bad. He's got his lawyer, cease and desist. Take the video down.
Did he lose all of his money? Like, see, this I just get, like, right, we see Gyllenhaal for the first time. He goes to some stupid underground fight with Post Malone, and his whole strategy is I cover up so nobody knows who I am. And then
Notorious Hard Body, Post Malone.
So Post Malone, what is with the guy's nipples? Did you guys notice he had just the weirdest?
I did not look at his nipples.
Go back and watch it.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that, Eric. Straight up, I don't care.
I'll send you a screenshot. I got a couple of them.
Okay, if you kept him in the bank, that's fine.
He's got weird nipples, is all I'm saying. Post Malone, deal with your nipples.
He's there. He puts a lot of cash down. And then he reveals who he is, and then nobody will fight him because, like, oh, he's crazy. I don't want to fight him.
Well, he's killed people before.
Right, and then but he's living in this beat-up car, and he has nowhere to live. Right, he's sleeping in his car.
Maybe there was a wrongful death lawsuit that he had to pay out.
Or did he go to prison for killing? Like, that's also something we didn't get to know.
No, didn't. I don't understand why he was so destitute at the beginning of the film. Like, yeah, there could be reasons that maybe make sense, but.
Yeah, like stuff that would explain his character. Like, yeah, why? Who cares about that?
But they didn't do any of that, right? He's upset because he killed his friend, but does that explain why he's broke? You'd think he'd have enough money that he could have like an apartment somewhere at a minimum. Like he'd have, a few grand in the bank, and maybe he blew it all. I don't know, whatever. I don't know. It was one of the many questions because this movie wasn't working. Is like every little thing then became like, wait, does that make sense? No, and then
the only thing we really know about him is he can fight. That's literally the only quality about his character that I.
What caused him to snap in the ring when he killed his supposed friend? I couldn't even tell. It looked like just normal fighting stuff.
Right, he got hit in the face, I think.
Well, but like you're in a UFC fight, that's fair game, right?
Yeah.
You're consenting to that if you do a UFC fight. But did the guy say something? I just didn't.
Well, and he didn't really snap. He just threw a knee to the face, which seemed like a good move. It wasn't like he like lost it, and then he kept punching him after the fact. But
yeah, that whole scene was just not well done. Like
the guy says, the knee to the face was what did it, so he had already killed him at that point.
No, I think it was the punch that killed him. I think that they were talking about one of the excess punches when he was already out.
Well, either way, like it wasn't as if something weird happened in the fight. He just kneed him and then punched him too many times.
Yeah.
But then we waste the suicide. I mean, like, right, he considers putting himself in front of a train to die. Right? Okay, so he's that depressed, that bummed about his life. Okay. But that goes away completely. We don't explore the suicidal thoughts ever again. And that annoyed the piss out of me. Like that, if that's what drives the plot forward, that's the reason why he takes the job. We're not going to deal with that again at all.
Also, the biggest problem is this movie takes place in 2024, right? Modern post-COVID America. In Florida's really America. It is, right? I mean, even though it oftentimes doesn't appear to be, but it does. And where in America are there bars where people are just fighting nightly? Does that even happen? I mean, maybe in Florida, I guess. I don't know.
Sure, it was set in Florida. I forgave that, and the bar didn't make any sense, but that's part of the central conceit of the movie. That's fine.
If Florida is basically the wild, wild west, where dudes are getting drunk and beating the shit out of each other, every single one of these motherfuckers would have a gun, right? It's Florida. They give out guns when you cross the border. You can pick them up at the library, I assume, and no laws, no police. There's fights. Every one of these fucking guys would have a gun. And there would just be a shootout every night. There would be shots fired, right? If this was any bit realistic.
Sure, that's fine. I concede that, okay, they're at a roadhouse where it's this massive place, it's super busy, even in this smallish town, and people aren't packing heat all the time. I just concede
that's a fantasy.
That's fine. The first movie's a fantasy. None of it makes sense. This one doesn't make sense. They're at this bar. They still have to have the wire to protect the band.
Yeah, the chicken
people are
wire.
So rowdy. How is this many people have this much money to fill a space this big? It doesn't make sense. People would have guns, but I didn't have a problem accepting that. Like, okay, they have a massive roadhouse. People don't have guns. It's an action movie. There's always a dearth of guns in action movies. Usually, not so much in John Wick, but in a lot of other movies. Like, okay, yeah, the hero would probably get shot under normal circumstances. Yes, it's a fantasy. It's a Wild West fantasy.
There's like two guns in the whole movie. There's like the one shotgun and the one gun that the guy has in his belt. Like nobody else has guns. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the only time
that's true.
Gyllenhaal gets shot at is with a spear gun, and he even mentions it.
Right.
Spear gun?
Spear gun?
So I had a problem with that.
Well, sure, that's fine. I didn't have a problem. There was a billion things I cared about more, but yeah, there should be more guns in the movie if it's being at all realistic.
Well, it's just you want to make a movie about fighting, right? Like fist fighting and brawls. Yeah. There's just no way in modern society that happens without guns being involved. It's just not the America that I live in or I know. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. It's like if you want to kill the guy, just shoot him. Why all the fuss? The only people that do have guns are the bad guys.
It's the whole Austin Powers, like, I have a gun. I can go get it and kill him right now. It's like, nope, we need to hire the Irish. We need to hire
him in an easily escapable situation and assume everything goes according to plan.
We need to hire.
Don't get it. Eric, you don't get it.
The crazy Irish guy who's in Italy right now. We need to hire that guy to come all the way down to Florida to fight him. That's the way this is going to end. Like, no, it's like, Dad, I got a gun. I have one. I could just shoot him in the back of his head. The cops won't care. They don't give a shit.
And was the son's plan to do drug running again, or did he really just want to create a resort? I mean, was that really...
He just wanted a nice little all-inclusive beachside resort. I think he was actually the good guy in the movie. It's really his story. He got attacked. He was just trying...
He's bring tourism back.
He's a capitalist. What, you don't like capitalism, Ben?
No, I said he's trying to bring tourism back. He wanted to get people visiting. No, but everybody skips it over, right? It's just... maybe he was the hero. And his death is a big tragedy.
The Glass Key. Is that a real place? The Glass Key? Is that? I thought they kept saying Last Key. And then we saw the bookstore where it was called the Glass Key. I was like, oh, that's what they've been saying this whole time.
If it's a real place, it's news to me. I don't know. I assumed it was fake, but
the girl with the bookstore, like, that's another one of those streaming movie tropes they throw in there, and it's always the like, there's the little kid that he cares about, and that's gonna get him to connect to the real world. It's like that's all the so lazy bullshit storytelling that like I'm just done. Like, have you guys ever watched Reacher, the show Reacher on Amazon?
No.
It's okay, but it's like exactly like this movie. This might as well have been the Reacher the movie, because it's the same idea. And there's always these like little kids or little people that connect the main character who doesn't really have any connection to the real world, where you care about something finally. And it's just so tired.
I could have forgiven that if they did something. If like Gyllenhaal really snapped and we got some really cool action to close out the movie and a really exciting climax, would have been like, okay, fine. That was what triggered him. Fine. But we didn't. I mean, the conclusion was such a bummer and not fun. So like, the fight wasn't fun. The stupid explosion wasn't fun. The fight in the water wasn't really fun. Like, no, it'd be so scary when he snaps. Let's see him be really fucking scary and just go insane. Let's just see that.
You guys obviously weren't the audience for this movie. The audience for this movie, this is how dumb the movie thinks the audience is. That Charlie from the bookstore, she actually recites the plot of the movie to you so that you get it. You're like the sheriff that comes and cleans up the town. Oh, okay. Thanks for making the subtext text, just laying it out there.
Oh, this is actually one of those mystery westerns. Yes, we got her as describing the meta narrative the whole time.
What if the hero stays around?
Well, he doesn't. He pulls a Shane, and he leaves.
He's got other towns to clean up.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do at the end of the movie. I don't know. He's going to go back to his car? Is it in the shop repaired?
That's the real love story. Him and his car. He didn't want to leave his car in the beginning.
Right.
But see, I think this movie, if you take Gyllenhaal out, right, so get rid of him and whatever it is he's doing in this movie, in his fake abs, and you put in somebody that has a little bit of charm or somebody who's like psycho, like a Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon kind of situation. And I think it's not as bad. I think it's actually like a watchable movie. I really think Gyllenhaal is the biggest problem with this, if you're asking me, because the it's stupid, but it tracks. You know, it's a whatever. It's a plot. And it's just that his character, I care nothing about him or what he does, and I just want him to go away for most of the movie. That it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, he's like low energy. I don't know why he's so low energy.
Yeah, it's like he every time we cut back to him, he's like moping around.
It looks like he has CTE the whole time, really.
Yes.
But then he should be like emotional or have mood swings or something. But when he talks, he usually, again, he seems to not be dumb. The few times he says anything.
But he makes really dumb decisions. Like he does dumb shit.
What are the dumb things that he does?
Well, just he signs up for this to be this bouncer in the bar, and then he just sits there the whole time and doesn't really fight. I guess he sort of trains some of the other bouncers.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really get involved much. And she wants to like hire him, and I guess by default he sort of does take the job. But I don't know. I mean, the houseboat stuff, the stuff with the nurse lady, like she goes on this trip. It's like, did you not realize this was a date? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
She's a doctor, by the way, sir.
Oh, sorry. The doctor, the physician, the licensed physician. Sorry. But anyway,
you should apologize to her, I think, and all women.
Either way, I mean, she might as well just be like the nurse that takes care of him, because that's all her character really is. And then just happens
she saves his life from her corrupt dad.
It happens to be the daughter of the sheriff bad guy at the same time, which is
that guy. We haven't even talked about that pointless, stupid character. Why? What's the point of any of this? Like, I was so mad, right? So he has the obvious ploy where he's like, "They got my daughter, and I need you to help me get her back." And then he's sitting on the boat, and Jake Gyllenhaal, who's not surprised, like it was, you're an idiot.
Here's all of a sudden he's Deadpool, and he's like commenting on what's happening in the movie, and he's like, "Ooh, a double cross." He's like, "Oh, a double cross." Right. And all of a sudden he's like fucking Deadpool for a minute. Like, who is this guy? Where have you been the whole movie? Now you're just cracking jokes about the plot of the movie, and you're making fun of it as it's happening.
But then that Brant guy's like, "Oh, by the way, I did actually kidnap." Like, what? And he's like, "You asshole! Fuck you for doing this." Come on. This is nonsense. Come on. Why are we doing this?
But then Gyllenhaal's like, "I'll just blow up the boat." Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? You know she's on the boat, right?
Well, see, that's a decision you might make if you're insane and you're like got brain damage and you're suicidal. You're like, well, these people piss me off, and if I go down on a flaming boat, who cares?
Yeah,
I don't want to be alive anyway. I'll take some assholes with me.
I mean, he looked like he used the explosion as a distraction, like it was calculated. It wasn't like he was trying to blow up the boat.
But it blew up the boat he's on, and there's a lot of ways that could go very wrong. I mean, it's not like he's a demolition expert.
Explosives while you're on the boat, like that seems like a stupid decision, and
like,
you know the woman's there.
Debris could knock you out. You could get splinters all over your fucking face. There's a lot of ways that could go wrong. It's something I don't think you would do if you're trying to make this a plausible thing. You would only do it if you're really desperate and a little bit crazy. That's the only rationale. I don't know. This was frustrating. I don't think Gyllenhaal's the biggest problem. Conor McGregor's the biggest problem, followed by the script and the action and the general tone. It wasn't fun. It wasn't serious.
Conor McGregor's not in the movie enough to be that big of a problem.
Oh, every time he showed up was like, it was charisma vacuum. It's gone.
He's the most plausible fighter, though. I mean, when there is an actual fight, like Post Malone watching that fight scene was so painful. He looks like he has no idea what he's doing, and he's like beating. Like, come one, come all. I'll beat all you guys up. And it's fucking Post Malone, who doesn't look like he can even throw a punch with his weird.
No, he looks like he'd get tired after about 5 minutes of fighting. Like he'd get exhausted. Like
And
I would.
And Gyllenhaal, like he does, I guess, as good of a job that you could to look like a plausible fighter, but I don't know. I mean, Conor McGregor actually looks like he could kick some ass.
Sure, but he's so uncharismatic. And every time like, oh, now we're cutting to him in this fucking car, sipping coconut, bopping his head. I get it. He's chaotic and happy-go-lucky. I don't care about this character. Go away. Please stop. Like when he's driving out to the boat, it's like, I don't want him in this sequence. And then Jake Gyllenhaal blows up the boat before Conor McGregor gets on. Wouldn't you wait? Like, why wouldn't you wait 2 minutes for him to load up?
Because he's Forrest Gump. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a complete
I'm gonna
dummy.
do before the psycho guy gets on. I want to make sure that guy can have a boat and, like, I don't know. Conor McGregor.
You're doing an excessive amount of pounding on your table.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It just shows me how upset you are about.
No, this movie just kept
Conor
making
McGregor.
bad choices after bad choices. It was kind of okay. Wasn't great, but it was like, it's okay. We're like waffling between, is this a decent movie versus just a meh? And then it's like, I got to see him walking down the street, literally like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 1. Like, okay, it's almost like the exact scene. I would like to be your clothes. See, that's a movie that figures out how to use Arnold's accent and make it work for the movie.
See, a young Arnold would make this movie a million times better.
Yes, of course. Agreed.
He'd have some charm. He'd say some stupid lines, and he'd beat the shit out of these guys, and it would be funny, but also cool action. And he would be like, I'm not doing the suicidal. Like, that's dumb. He just like, wouldn't do it because there's nothing entertaining about that. And it would be a completely different, better movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of other choices you could make. There are certainly better options for your lead.
What's a good Gyllenhaal movie?
You ever heard of Donnie Darko?
What's a good Gyllenhaal movie?
I don't even remember what Nightcrawler is great. I think Nightcrawler is actually
Nightcrawler's. That's a movie. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, did you guys watch Prisoners?
Prisoners is good.
Okay.
He's good in that. He's good in Zodiac.
Oh yeah, Zodiac.
Yeah,
so there's a few. He's actually good in Donnie Darko. I kid about that movie, but he's good in it.
Yeah, I don't have your general Gyllenhaal problems.
Brokeback Mountain, he's really good in that. I mean, he can be a good actor.
I just realized Donnie Darko is the Swayze connection here.
Yeah.
Swayze Gyllenhaal connection.
That's true.
That's true.
But see, to me, like, the choices that are made, I don't know. I doubt they were. Blame whoever you want, I guess. I don't know. But, like, there's a clear character choice to have him be this low-key thing. Maybe it was Gyllenhaal saying, that's how I want to do it. Maybe it was Doug Liman saying, this is how we're going to do it. Maybe this is what the script called for, some combination thereof. I think he could have given you a different performance in the movie, but this is what they collectively went with, and it doesn't make sense. It wasn't a great choice. Because they didn't steer it. If they steered into suicidal, it would have been better. They didn't steer into suicidal. It's just he knows how to handle himself. He knows how to handle fights. That's it. And I guess he's good at reading people, maybe? I don't know. To me, like, if you have a better script, better direction, better action, he'd be a lot better in it, I think. But that's fine. You could do better, too. I don't know. It's not like a perfect casting choice. I would rather have a young Arnold. As a villain or a hero, I'd rather have young Arnold as the chief henchman and the crazy guy. That'd be better. I mean, the sub-baddie in the original Roadhouse, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I mean, that guy was a proper lunatic and a proper crazy, scary, weird villain. It was way more compelling than anything we got from Conor McGregor in this. That was a guy like just, this is going insane. And that's a movie that didn't worry about trying to explain the villain's motives much at all. Villain was just like a crazy rich asshole who did crazy rich asshole stuff that didn't make any logical or financial sense.
Kevin, thoughts? Dreams? Hopes?
Thoughts? Well, I definitely enjoyed this movie more than you guys because I have the ability to turn off my brain and just let the colors and sounds wash over me. And
well, we know from our last episode you were disappointed in no Willem Dafoe schlong. Were you equally disappointed we didn't get Gyllenhaal schlong in this movie?
Well, I haven't heard tales of the Jill Schlong.
Okay.
Did the weird nipples make up for it? It worked for Eric.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, is that a category on Pornhub? Is that how you notice that?
I just think if we're CGIing things, let's CGI some correction on those nipples. Like let's fix them. That's all I'm saying. If we're fixing everything else, let's fix Post Malone's nipples. Maybe it's because he has like tattoos everywhere except like the proper nipple that it looks so weird.
Are you not allowed to tattoo that area?
It must hurt. I don't know. Maybe you can actually have a tattoo on the nipple. Maybe he specifically wanted it to look like that, like tattoos surrounding the nip. We spent entirely too much time on nipples, I think.
This was your thing. You brought this up. If you hadn't talked to Zero about nipples,
it very much bothered me. I don't know. And I'm a big Post Malone guy. I don't know if you know that about me, but giant Post Malone guy.
But you're not big on Post Malone's big nipples.
No. Well, that was the first I've seen him. I hadn't seen the nipples before, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's my first, and it really stood out. I don't know. It was very off-putting.
Just set the movie off wrong. You were just bothered from the get-go. Just couldn't get you back on track.
Sorry, I interrupted.
So there was too much nudity for you and not enough nudity for me, and you just couldn't stand it. That's fine.
Well, another thing, so Roadhouse was, for me, it was the go to Blockbuster and you rent the movie and you try to sneak it by your mom because there's nipples in it and like boobs, and there's no boobs in this movie. Right? We only get Post Malone's nipples. We don't get any female nipples.
And you get some Conor McGregor ass. You get 2 shots of Conor McGregor ass.
There's very little to no female nudity in this movie, which is surprising for like a, dude action movie that's a throwback to Roadhouse.
Yeah, I found that very surprising and was disappointed there was zero chemistry between the two leads as well. Why did she like him? I have no idea.
Well, the woman that owns the Roadhouse, yeah, right. All she knows about him is he beat up these guys and broke this dude's arm, and she's like, "Ooh, let me take you to the sandbar and fuck." It doesn't make any sense. No. But also the woman that hires him, why was there no chemistry between those two either? Like, there's literally nothing. Does she care about him? Does he care about her? There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And she's the whole reason he's there. There's no development there in that character at all.
Yeah, there's no meaningful relationship for sure. No, there isn't. It's she hires him because she has to for the plot, and he's there solving the problem because of the plot, and that's it. There's nothing meaningful going on there.
But is it because she's black and he's white that they can't have like a romantic thing? It just seemed weird to me. She's a young, attractive woman. He's Jake Gyllenhaal with his fake CGI body. Like, what's going on? Why aren't they doing stuff?
I mean, she's a businesswoman. She can separate her feelings.
Well, she didn't have any feelings.
Well, maybe she didn't. She just hid them from you. She's like, this guy's here for a job.
She has a very rich backstory that we don't know about. I mean, maybe she's married. Maybe she's a lesbian. Who knows?
Yeah, we know nothing about her character other than she's got a lot of money and she really wants to keep this Roadhouse, which somehow makes money. I really found
where
that
do these
implausible.
people come from? That was my question watching. Like, it's a rundown ghost town.
Right.
Have either of you guys been to the Florida Keys?
I have, yeah.
What is it? Do you really just drive on that long highway from island to island? What's it like?
Yeah, that's correct. It's one long. I think it's called Highway 1 or something. Highway 0.
Is there a highway with the tree in it that's off to the side, like in this movie?
Named Fred or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I saw.
I assume it's just resort after resort, though, right? I mean, it's beach
like
communities.
Resort, strip club, strip club.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the Roadhouse should have been a strip club. would have been more accurate.
Right, but it would have been less wholesome. You're trying to get people on board. You can't make it objectionable. Yeah, it didn't make sense. Yeah, where do they come from? This is this isolated small town island, right? We get that because everybody knows Dalton's name after he's there one night. He gets the hi Dalton. But then, are they coming from other islands? Wouldn't they have bars at their own islands? What's so cool about going to this one? How are they paying for the band? I don't know.
The band they played some bangers. I like the band.
They had several different ones. Yeah, I liked the music. I was like, okay,
which band?
Fun.
The one with the old guy lead singer, or the one where McGregor told him to stop playing?
I like the one that said, "Hey, I know we're at a bar, but can I take you to church?" And they played some like funky gospel tune. It's like, all right, I dig this. That was my favorite track, I guess, for ranking the bands of this movie.
Didn't the one do like a Rolling Stones cover? The one that had the woman singer. I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't the Rolling Stones.
Oh, no, it was a cover, and I've already forgotten it. But yes,
Speaking of covers, did you guys catch the Metallica?
What I Got. That's right. Wasn't it? Yeah, that was right. Sublime.
Yes,
Sublime.
The Sublime. Yes, it was Sublime.
What I Got.
Are you sure it wasn't Santeria?
Life is so short, so love the one you got, because you might get run over, or you might get shot. Never start a static. I just get it. That's what I got.
Yeah,
love
that's right.
it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I got. Okay.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Anyway, sorry.
I like the Enter Sandman because that was like his entrance music, right? And then it just starts playing out of nowhere for no reason, which is fine.
And then the fighting spirit who's entering the zone. Like, have a character play the music or something. Have somebody at the bar.
Have the band
do it, or
click on the jukebox or something, and somebody actually hits.
Somebody's there, hits it, or is like, "Oh, this is your like." I need to pump you up and motivate. That would make more sense than ephemeral, non-diegetic music. Like, have a character do it. Like, hey, I know this used to get you going, man. Like,
because it's the only instance of it in the whole movie where a song just starts playing.
Yeah,
like, you paid for the rights for the song. You use it way more effectively than that. Like, come on. You paid for whatever the 15 seconds.
It's cheaper just to do the riff, the intro riff, because we don't actually hear the exit light enter.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure they negotiated at what they were willing to pay. You don't get any words. You don't get anything. It's just like that little intro. That's fine.
Lars is like, as long as there's drums in there, baby, we'll let you use it.
Sure, that's fine.
And it sounded like a cheap cover, too, which was weird.
Yeah, it's probably not even performed by Metallica, so it's cheaper that way.
I don't know. I mean, I can shut my brain off, Kevin. I love the original, and it's very dumb. It doesn't make sense, but it's fun. All the action is fun.
And Swayze is very charismatic.
Right, and he's got a character. His character doesn't make any sense in reality. Like this Taoist bouncer fighter guy, samurai, whatever, is nonsense. And that he's this expert, not just in bouncing, but in how to run a bar. It's all ludicrous, but hey. That's the premise,
half of that movie, he's like going into the economics of the bar, and he's like doing accounting and shit. It's like, wait, what the fuck is this?
This is how much the drink should be. This is how you should handle this and that and this. And he knows the blues singer, the blind blues singer. I mean, look, it's ludicrous. It's so stupid. But at least it has the idea and the vision, and it sticks to it. And it makes it fun. I mean, there's monster trucks going through storefronts, a proper douchey rich guy who's just there to be a douchey rich guy who doesn't really make any sense. Absolute lunatics, fun action, crazy lines. There's no good lines in this at all that I can recall.
No.
There's not a single memorable moment.
I enjoyed, and he had a really bizarre line reading, though, was when Conor McGregor says, finally we have our octagon or something like that, and he's like, who taught you shapes? It was a really strange way of saying.
Again, it's like he's Deadpool for a second. Like, what is happening? This is not the guy that's been in this movie the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's I have this conspiracy theory. So you mentioned this was the number 2 Amazon movie, right?
It was probably number 1 when it first came out.
Came out, right? So here's my conspiracy. So for whatever reason, they didn't update on your Amazon Fire Stick. I use Fire Sticks is what I use to watch shit. And if you let it run, like a lot of times it'll tell you not to plug it into the TV, actually plug it into the outlet, so it stays on the whole time. And if you let it run, it will actually just jump into whatever the main screen is, and it's often been Roadhouse. And it'll start it up. It'll show the first like 10 minutes, or it'll just jump right into the trailer. And I think that's how they get all these things to have like 10 million hours watched. It's because it's just fucking running in the background for most people. But
so you're saying this is like that U2 album that everybody got downloaded when you had an iPhone.
Yes.
Like, oh, look at how many downloads it's got. Everybody loves this U2 album.
Right. No, it's just everybody bought an iPhone or whatever. Yes. That's my conspiracy theory with all Amazon products is it runs in the background so they can count that as a view because it starts up and then after 10 minutes or whatever it restarts. And so every time you leave your thing turned on, it's running those views. But it always shows that scene too, the octagon scene. So I've seen it like 50 times. 'Cause I'll just leave my thing on, my Fire Stick on, and it shows that scene. But you're right. It's a weird how he says it. He's like he's cheeky again. He's like,
I didn't know what he meant.
Thought you
Was
shaved.
that the fighting arena? I didn't even get the reference.
UFC fight in an octagon.
Okay,
That's what
see,
they
I didn't
call
know
it.
that. Okay, I mean I kind of guessed that. I was like, I don't know what that means. And then like Brent gets killed by Conor McGregor, which I don't. Is that
Brent
he
does
wants
get
chaos. He's the
he just
Joker.
snaps his neck.
Yeah, he's just an agent of chaos.
Yeah, that's right.
He might as well have the Joker paint on. Actually, that would have made the movie 10 times better. For no reason, he just had the Joker paint on.
Sure, make him seem crazier and less detached from reality, right? I mean, then here's a guy who is just totally disengaged and is a sociopath. Doesn't even care about it. He just wants to watch the world burn. Fine.
He just wants to watch the Roadhouse burn.
Wants to turn Glass Key into the Sand Key, if you know what I mean.
Still, why would the dad pick him to clean up a mess?
And that's the only instance the dad we get, and it's so bizarre. Why are we throwing the dad in this?
Yeah,
well, that's the sequel. That's for the sequel. The dad's
there you
come
go.
back.
There you go.
Cool.
I think you're onto something there, Lane.
Who is the dad though? Who plays the dad? Like someone weird, like Antonio Banderas or something.
I don't know, Brent or Brandt or whatever.
Russell Crowe.
White.
Right. I know it wouldn't make any sense.
Okay. Russell Crowe, sure. Russell Crowe could play a douchey Florida Key gangster just fine. He'd do just fine. Sure.
But he's full on Australian.
Well, he can do an American accent, unlike Conor McGregor, who I don't think can at all. But sure, you could have him just have the Australian accent for no reason.
All right. Well, Kevin, are you happy that you watched this? Are you satisfied?
I do,
because you said you wanted a palate cleanser. Do you feel cleansed?
How much richer is your life now that you've seen it?
Well, it really just went into my eyeballs and just fell out. You guys are reminding me a lot of the stuff that I already forgot about the movie. So
sounds about right.
So yeah, it slid off my brain pan pretty quickly.
Didn't track in that long-term memory like that sheriff guy with the board to the head.
There you go. See,
you remembered
anyway.
About
another thing.
It didn't even work.
Yeah, it didn't work, but apparently it worked for me. It was like I got concussed.
Did
afterwards.
you? Wait, 2 hours later? Whoa! I don't know what happened. I guess I watched this movie. Oh.
Yeah, I watched the movie. It left me with a pleasant feeling of having watched a stupid action movie.
Having watched a movie.
So it's like your like one sentence description is like this movie is like getting hit in the head with a board and forgetting everything you just watched. I love it.
But 2 hours will have passed, so
but
there you go.
time will have progressed in the normal course.
It was a waste of 2 hours. No, it was, I don't know, I thought it was more fun than Ben thought. Conor McGregor didn't suck the life out of the movie. He didn't really add that much to the movie, but I got what they were trying to go for, like the Agent of Chaos type of scenario where he just goes and... But that still was like such an odd choice. Why did the dad even think that the guy in Italy with a vaguely Irish accent would be the guy to bring to Florida to clean up a mess?
Did he get paid? What was he going to get paid for doing this job? Conor McGregor's character.
Sandwiches, apparently.
Like, was there an exchange of do this for me and I'll give you $100,000?
I just think he liked fucking shit up and maybe did it pro bono.
Hey, anybody got some crazy shit you want me to do? I'll do it for free. Just point me the right way.
Just paid for his incidentals.
But did he like get on a plane and fly coach from Italy to Florida with this robe that he just stole? Like, does he have a passport? Like, how is that guy? The logistics of him getting from Italy to Florida.
He just walks to the airport.
I want a movie
security,
on that. Yeah,
snapped the necks with some TSA agents. Nobody stopped him. They were too intimidated. He's too tough.
Did he just?
He didn't even pay for a ticket.
Ocean?
He just walked onto a plane.
Well, it's just like the hospital scene at the end credits. He just gets his way.
I don't think I watched that. Was there a post-credits scene?
Yeah, he leaves the hospital bare ass.
Okay.
He's got the robe on. But
I didn't watch that.
See, that tied it all together, Eric. You really missed it.
I really honestly didn't watch that scene. Okay. So I missed more bare ass Conor McGregor.
You did.
Leaving the hospital. All right. I'll have to go back and check that out.
So he's in the sequel, too, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want. Or this incomprehensible Irish guy with a dumb grin on his face.
Well, see, I think they were going for like a Fast and the Furious kind of vibe because those movies don't make any sense either. But there's something fun about those that was missing from this. Yeah, so maybe they'll get there.
It definitely wasn't as fun as a Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
I mean, how does this compare to like an Aquaman?
How does it compare to Aquaman?
Yeah, that's a dumb movie, but fun.
Yeah,
right?
but that's a kid's movie, though. I mean, at its core, it's just that's a kid's, superhero film.
Okay.
Was this rated R? It must have been, right?
No, there wasn't any nudity. The violence was.
There was not a lot of blood. There's almost no blood.
Post Malone's nipples don't get you an R rating.
Only in your mind, Eric. That became NC-17.
How many people got stabbed and killed? That doesn't make it rated R.
They were very non-bloody stabbings. How graphic was it? It was like I don't hardly remember a drop of blood.
Gyllenhaal gets stabbed in the side in that first scene where he lets the guy stab him, which was like, well, what? Okay. And then
that was an odd choice.
So he's bleeding there. He has to go to the hospital, and because he's bleeding,
he doesn't though. He just
duct tapes it. Yeah. Well, the nurse lady who is actually
like the physician's assistant, the one who didn't go to med school, who just did like a night program.
Yeah, she couldn't. A woman can't be a doctor, right? So must have been a nurse. No, doesn't she patch him up at some point?
Yes,
right?
Yes. When he brings the guys to the hospital, that's where it was going for humor to have them all in the car together. Like he beats everybody up the first night he's there, and he's got to give him a ride to the hospital, and then he meets the doctor who chews him out at first.
Yeah, and that other thing, I liked the gangster that was the comedic foil. I thought he was pretty funny.
He breaks his arm.
Yeah, he broke his arm, and he's just
like riding bikes.
I just like riding bikes.
It's just tough to do that by yourself. But these guys weren't as nice as I thought.
Yeah, that was a good line. I enjoyed that.
All right. Anything else? You guys want to give your ratings?
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was more fun than what you guys thought. So, I give it 3 stars. 3 shiny stars.
Okay. Ben?
2 for me. I mean, it wouldn't have taken that much to make it a 2.5 or a 3-star, but it just did not do enough to get there. I mean, it was just kind of a big letdown. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. There are moments that kind of work, but it was a movie that was, at best, it was nothing. At worst, it was kind of annoying. So it's like, okay, that's 2 stars. What about you, Eric?
I'm a 2 as well. I think this would have been like in the movie theater where you just sort of have a few beers and you're laughing at how stupid it is. Might have been more fun. But watching it at home, it's one of those straight to streamer kind of things. I'm a 2-star. It's just for all the reasons I already mentioned. Gyllenhaal, his performance, you're losing at least a couple stars for that.
No, you know that there's like 5 movies and you think he's really good at, but just lose 2 stars automatically.
But there's a lot of movies he's really bad in, like Prince of Persia. I can think of one. He's like fucking terrible in that. This movie's he's really bad in it.
Do you think it's his fault or Doug Liman's fault? mean, do you think that's his choice to have the character go that route?
It had to have been.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think Doug Liman was like, no, you're going to be subdued. I want you to have a dumb grin on your face.
Like, does he think he's going to win an Oscar for this movie? No. So just be stupid. Why go into the whole dark, depressing, scenario?
But I mean, again, can you tell whether that's him or Doug Liman saying this is what the script needs? We're going to play this low key and mellow. I mean, yes, if he made those choices, he's like, this is how I want to play it, then bad call. I just don't know.
Well, that's the way it came off.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's just one of those actors who sometimes he's great and sometimes he's just really bad.
The Prince of Persia is just a terrible on its face casting decision. I'm sure he was bad in the movie. I've never seen it, but that on its face, why is he a Prince of Persia? Why is he in that?
Is that the one, The Sands of Time? You can
yes, I think
manipulate time.
Right.
Yeah, he's a Middle Eastern warrior guy.
That's a strange choice for Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Like do you guys see Jarhead? I think he's not good in that movie.
He's just fine in that movie.
What do you think of Maggie Gyllenhaal?
She's okay.
She was in a Nolan movie.
Yeah, there you go.
She's all right. She's the worst part of The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I agree.
She has very little to do in that movie. I mean, it's not like it's not a very meaty role.
Yeah. Ambulance, the other Gyllenhaal movie, that he in that he's just like crazy, but it could live without it. I don't know.
Isn't there a movie where he's a cop and it's like camera footage?
Yeah, that movie, End of Watch, that's actually a pretty good movie. But
okay.
It's like a found footage kind of
right
cop movie. Yeah, I don't know. Not a huge Jake Gyllenhaal guy. But anyways, nothing else? We're moving on from Roadhouse?
I think, yeah. I mean, mileage may vary. You're not going to have that. It's not going to be one of the best action movies of all time. At best, it's going to be a sort of fun little 2 hours that'll go by and nothing will. That's the best case scenario. Time will pass and you'll be left with a vague, pleasant feeling, and then you'll move on with your life.
I didn't get to use my Doug Liman joke. He's both lemony and limey.
Okay.
There we go.
That's good. That's a good one.
Is he British?
No. He just has the one delicious taste of lemon and lime.
Okay.
So he's like a Sprite?
That's right.
Okay. Well, ready to work on what we're going to watch next week?
Another palate cleanser, I hope.
We'll see. I don't know. All right, let's start here, though. The year of this film, when it was released, was 1963.
63. This might be... Is this oldest movie we've done, maybe?
Are you getting anxious yet, Eric? Are you imagining just some people sitting around? Let's talk about some boring things right now. Really bored people that were born in the 80s. So that's 1963. Second clue. Hopefully this maybe alleviates a little bit of your anxiety. Not the lead, but one of the principal actors in the movie is Robert Shaw.
I think I know this. I think I can guess it.
Let's hear it.
Well, that might be later. Taking of Pelham 123?
No, it is not Taking of Pelham 123.
Isn't he in that? Isn't Robert Shaw in that?
Yeah, that movie's, I think, about a decade off, I think.
Oh,
I love the original Taking of Pelham 123. I'd love to talk about it, but that's not what I'm picking.
Oh, okay. That's a great movie.
It's got Walter Matthau in it. It's really fun.
Yeah, I just saw it for the first time this year. Very, very worth it.
But not the movie we're doing. Okay.
Nope, not the movie we're doing. See if this helps. It's a sequel. A 1963 sequel.
It's a sequel. I don't know. Don't have a guess.
This next one's probably not going to be helpful, but it was produced on a budget of $2 million, made after worldwide release about $70 million.
So big hit.
Smash hit.
Yeah.
For the early 60s. Not an obscure film at all.
Sequel. Is it The Sting?
It's not the Sting. You're still about a decade off. I think Sting's 73.
Robert Shaw's in that though, isn't he?
Yeah, you're picking Robert Shaw movies. But you're just off by a decade. No.
Is it
Sting's
a Western?
Great. It is not a Western. All right, do I want to? All right, maybe we'll start narrowing down. This will be another clue. This will narrow the pool down considerably. We'll see if you can get it from here. Depends on your notes. Okay, here's clue number 5.
James Bond.
Okay. So Bond movie, Robert Shaw. Is that it's still Connery, right?
Oh, it's definitely Connery.
Yeah.
I'll even tell you, this is the second Bond movie that was ever made. Well, no, there could be some weird earlier stuff.
Dr.
No
was
Dr.
one.
No's the first one.
First one.
Goldfinger's number 3.
Oh.
Those are the 2 Connery ones I know the best.
Me too. Which is part of why I picked this one, because I have not seen this one.
From Russia with Love?
You got it. That's it. Yep,
is it?
Okay. That's the second one. Yep.
Okay.
I've never seen it. And there's a whole bunch of Bond movies on Max. And it's been a long time since I've seen a Connery. I've seen Goldfinger multiple times. Dr. No once, I think. I haven't seen From Russia with Love, but I want to check it out.
Okay. We haven't done a Bond movie. This is interesting.
Let's talk some Bond. We don't know who the new Bond's going to be. Daniel Craig's done, so we're in a weird spot where presumably they're going to make another one at some point, but they got to find who the new Bond's going to be. So yeah.
We'll talk about who your pick would be if you were deciding who the next Bond is.
Yeah, I have a front runner now, but we'll talk about it next week. I have somebody that if you force me to pick.
Is it Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes, exactly.
No, it's Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. We be James Bond with the Lucky Charms.
Would you like it shaken or stirred?
Is Robert Shaw Irish? He is, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's one of the baddies in From Russia with Love. So, have neither of you seen it?
I don't know if I have.
I don't know if I have either. I used to watch a lot of them on cable.
Robert Shaw's the bad guy, right?
One of. I don't know if he's the chief one or just I don't know where he ranks in the hierarchy of bad
doesn't
people.
Doesn't have one of the. It's not like Odd Job or Jaws or Goldfinger. It's none of those famous bad guys that you know of.
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Is he Russian? Does he play a Russian?
I think he's probably going to play a Russian in this, I would guess. Yeah. I mean, that's from Russia.
Is this the one that has the ski? There's a big ski scene?
No, that's Roger Lazenby.
Yeah, okay, that's the other one.
This is before they get really silly. I mean, we'll talk it because it gets, however silly this one's going to be, the Roger Moore era is so bonkers and nonsensical.
Yeah, that's the Odd Job and Jaws. That's Roger Moore, but yeah. Okay.
So. What's with love?
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Listen, everybody.
Thanks, guys.